Greetings, programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews. A little bit of a higher than normal camera angle because today we're checking out a very beefy boy that I'm really excited to look at. Today we are looking at Leader Class Animated Megatron. And yeah, this has got to be my favorite figure, just hands down from the animated line. I love this thing so much. Now, it isn't without a few shortcomings. Sadly, none of the animated figures were perfect. There's some issues here, but all very easily overlooked for what ends up being a truly awesome figure. As you can see, for a big change in pace, we have a helicopter alt mode for Megatron. This works. This works a lot, in my opinion. Here, we'll kind of show off his above profile as best I can here. My camera is just about to fall on the floor right now. He is incredibly long, so it's very hard for me to show every angle on him. I will do my best to throw in some pictures here to, get you the idea a little more. But this is such a cool alt mode. I love this so much. As you can see on the bottom here, we do have little rolling landing gear. Relatively clean underside even, to be honest. I mean, you can kind of tell where the chest is because of the big Decepticon insignia, but that's it. And there's a reason for leaving that exposed. We'll get to that in a second. No real good way to fold up the landing gear. You can kind of push them in at the same time and try to keep them from interfering with each other, but they're more meant to just fold away during in robot mode instead of, actually just folding up to land or fly off or something. The ones back here on the fusion cannon, completely unfoldable. They are just stuck there. Neat feature actually is the fusion cannon can rotate. It also does fire. Weirdly enough, you would think that you fire on this cannon by pulling back, but you actually push forward. And good lord, does it fire this missile with a lot of force. This thing will go off very easily if you're not used to this figure, because again, you're going to feel like that part of the motion is what, fires it. No. It's that little bit forward that actually does it. So that's weird. That takes some getting used to. In this mode, while it's not perfectly executed, the propeller blades or rotor blades, I guess, are somewhat linked to each other, so that when you turn one, it turns the other. I don't know if it's age of the figure or something else, but they only spin in unison for so far before one of them will get stuck. So, not perfectly executed, but either way, nice little touch. And if it will show on camera, if you go ahead and hit the button down here, you get a bit of flashing lights in the bottom and in the cockpit. And yeah, you get some helicopter sounds. So, copter mode is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get him into robot mode. Alright, and here we are with the big man in his robot mode, and I love this figure so much. This thing looks so good. Now, he does tend to stick in a bit of a power stance like this, just because of the way his legs are ratcheted. I'm totally okay with that. Fairly hefty backpack, but again, I'm okay with that. I don't know why I give his backpack such a pass. I think it's the way that it does just completely disappear behind him in his silhouette. That's a nice touch. Really nicely done head sculpt. You can see quite a bit of personality in there. And he's got one of those really awesome gimmicks where when you hit this button on his chest now, the mouth actually opens while it's doing all its blinking lights and stuff. He's got a few different sayings. noticing that little piece on his head there seems to like to go sideways, but... Yeah, that's great. The cockpit is flashing while you do that too, because why not? But yes, even though he's got the talking gimmick, he does still have a working head rotation. It can only go from side to side, no full rotation. That's to be expected. Things can't really do that anyway in real life, unless they're an owl. So that's a perfectly acceptable range of head motion. Sadly, there's no outward shoulder movement, at least here, but you can move the arms down right there. Ratcheted rotation. Full range, though the little wings here will get in the way of that. But yeah, you get that outward movement. You've got a rotation right there in the bicep. A double jointed elbow. First joint right there is just a hinge. However, the second joint down here is a ratchet. So you get, full range flex. Go ahead and rotate his wrist around as well. He does actually have a ratcheted waist swivel, which is awesome. The side skirts here can move out to let you move the legs out to the full splits. Really loud ratchets. Can kick forward. Can kick back about that far before the kibble gets in the way. Pretty good knee bend. Rotation just above the knee. And really, really good ankle tilt. I love the ankle tilt. There's parts that, fold out to try and keep it filled as the ankle comes down. Heel and toe are also articulated. So, really, really fantastic in that regard. If you want, you can put the fusion cannon on either arm. There are little notches along these. Not sure what word that is. Anti-grooves. We're going to call those anti-grooves. So, they don't just slide on, but they do actually lock on once they're there, which is a really, really nice touch. As well as he does come with a pair of swords that used to be his rotor blades. This is the kind of parts forming I am always okay with. I love when something just becomes a weapon like this. These are also very hard to lose, so you don't even have the excuse of, but you can lose it and mess up the alt mode. You can, but these are big. If you lose these, I don't feel too sorry for you. This is a lot. This is a lot to lose, I say as I drop it. But go ahead, give him that. It looks great. Obviously, if you want, you can go ahead and just slide it back in and leave it pegged on his back for weapon storage, which also looks really good. Just overall, this is, in so many ways, this is one of the best Megatron figures. Not just for its time, but period. This thing screams Megatron. As different as so many of the designs for the animated series were, this one, you don't look at this one and wonder who this is. This is, without a doubt, Megatron. I love this figure. He's not easy to track down nowadays, but if you get a chance at him, I cannot recommend him enough. He is such a good time, such a fun figure, easily one of the best figures in the animated line as a whole. So, yeah, absolute highest of recommendations for this guy. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.